Hello and welcome to another episode of Bare Bones Wargaming, a show with no bells, no whistles, no frills, just a man, a camera, and his game. On this episode, we are going to go driving deep into Mother Russia again. This is a solo game that recently came out. I gotta admit, one of the faster Kickstarters I've seen turnaround time in quite a while. It's a game that is like a lot of games I've seen lately, especially games I've been buying, that have a basic, simple, not simplistic system that drives it, and the gameplay is really found in the interaction of the cards that are involved in the game. Kind of like, Tarawa 1943 or the Chancellors of 1863, games like that. That is. So I kind of took a flyer on this when I saw it pop up and stuff, and I'm glad I did because this is already, what you're going to see here is my third play of the game, and I just got this Friday afternoon. The game in question that just came out is this one. It's Campaign Blau from Martin Melbardis, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, from Catastrophe Games. And probably as you can guess by the way the box looks, printed by Blue Panther Games. Alright, now, again, you are in charge of the mighty German Wehrmacht, going deep into Russia. In the game here, what you see is pretty much what you get. You have a battle map, and you have a campaign map. The campaign map shows you the different places that you're trying to conquer, how many victory points they're worth. You also have a track to keep track of your victory points, your supplies that you will need, and of course, what turn it is. Every single turn, beginning in July, is divided into an early, mid, and late period. You also have basically your player A card here too, that gives you the turn sequence and also the orders that can be given to your generals. Now in the game, there are 8 generals total, 8 Axis generals. There actually is Axis allies, which sometimes games kind of forget them or ignore them. But this one actually has Garibaldi and the Romanian commander of the Romanian Third Army, which Romanian names have always tripped me up, so I'm not even going to try it. They're in there too. Okay, 8 generals. You get to select 3, or in my case, what I did for my third game, just for a challenge and fun, I randomly chose them, and you're going to deploy them here on the front line. Now, these 3, you have to be careful because this is all you get. No substitutions, exchanges, or refunds. If you lose one, not only do you use victory points, but you don't get to replace it with another general. Okay, whoops, sorry about that. So let's zoom in here, and we'll take a quick look here on the front lines and see what we've got. Now, in this particular case here, let's see, let's zoom in on von Kleist. So I have here on the front line, I've got von Manstein, von Kleist, and Bruhoff. Okay, each card is going to give you a number of strength cubes. In this particular case, von Kleist has 4. There also is a symbol here. You can see the little tank symbol telling you whether it's a Panzer or an infantry army. There's also information about special abilities that are given to the units or based on the commanders. Like von Manstein, because of his recognized military skill, you can re-roll some dice. Von Kleist will give you an advantage here with an event card, which hopefully we'll see here in a little bit. So each one of them has those kind of benefits that will help you as you can use them to deal with and battle through the game. Okay, so these are the 3 I've got to start with. And again, you have your front line here, and then you can see you have 5 slots here because 5 event cards is the most that you can hold in your hand at any one time. Now, the event cards can be things that are both good and bad. If you see an event card with a red on it right away, naturally enough, you should be greatly concerned. So again, just to kind of show you real quick, a close-up here, one of the general cards. Here's Hoth. I had him last game. Lots of information here, but easy to read, print, and stuff. No trouble with that, with these 50-year-old eyes doing that. And then you have the Soviet campaign cards. In the game, you start with Voronezh right off the bat. They tell you how many victory points they're worth there in the upper left. They also tell you how many combat cubes, how many strength cubes they have. And down here, most importantly, when you conquer this card, it tells you what new campaign cards you can unlock. So here you can unlock Voroshilov and Rostov if you manage to conquer this card. Okay, unlocked campaign cards are placed up here at the top. And again, in order to get to other campaign cards, you have to conquer those ones first. So again, it's kind of like advancing through Russia, but in a kind of unique and interesting way of doing it with the cards. Okay, so we are all set to play. Again, this is a pretty basic, straightforward kind of system. So we're going to dive right in and let's get rolling. And I do mean pretty, again, but basic, you know, simple does not mean simplistic, but honestly, there are really only 7 pages of rules for the entire rule book. Which, by the way, the rule book is pretty well handled, too, because I've only had a few questions so far, and this is my 3rd play. Okay, let's get rolling. Now, first thing you do is you always move your cube up here. Now, we're going to be starting in early July, because, of course, Case Blue was really launched, technically, I believe, June 28th, if my memory serves me on that. But, of course, I mean, you know, we're not splitting hairs here kind of thing. Okay, we got our supplies. We're going to need our supplies both to advance and attack as we go through the game and try to conquer the Soviet Union. Now, as you use your generals in the game, when you give them orders, you'll slide them down so that you can see here in front of von Kleist, and now it says exhausted. So if this was a later game turn, you would make sure that all of your generals are not exhausted anymore and they are ready to roll. And then you draw 2 cards off the top of the event deck. Okay? Now, von Kleist has a special ability, but if you read the fine print, you don't do it on the July turn. He gets to draw 3 cards for early turns, but not July, so we'll get to that here in a little bit. So let's see what we did get. We did get, up right off the bat, we got Hungarian allies, and we also got the Dora railgun. Okay? Now, the event cards will give you a nice picture there. They spell out everything that you need to know. There are symbols here on the game. Okay? It sometimes gives you choices, a little bit of historical background too. All the symbols are very quickly and easily laid out here on the back of the rulebook. Very nice, clean, organized. So I mean, they're pretty basic too once you get used to them. The only gripe I have is that the mountains and the fortress cities are kind of little similar until you kind of get used to them. Maybe you could use a little different one or maybe different color even for that. So I got a good draw here to start. Both of these cards are beneficial to the Germans. Okay, so let's get ready to roll. All right, we got our event cards. We're in good shape. Now, for your generals, you basically can give them 3 orders each turn. You can give an advanced order. Okay, advanced order will let you take campaign cards that are up here unlocked and move them to the front line, either in front of the general, like here in front of von Manstein, or diagonally from them. Okay, Panzer units like von Kleist, you can spend extra supplies to actually lay out 2 cards at a time if you want. Okay, you also can give an attack order. An attack order, again, you spend supplies and you either attack either the card in front of you or a card that is adjacent diagonally there. Okay, and the other order you can give your generals is consolidate. Consolidate basically will let you build up your supplies so you're ready for later on in the game. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and let's get rolling. So, first order I'm going to give, I am going to go ahead and have, let's just do Ruoff here. I'll have Ruoff, slide him down to exhausted. I'll spend 1 supply, knocking it down to 4 on the track, and I will put Vornej here in front of von Kleist. Now, there's not much information on this one. There's 3 Soviet blocks to go there. Okay, and now I can go ahead and I can issue an attack order. I can either go with von Kleist or I can go with von Manstein. I think I'm going to go with von Kleist because he has panzer troops, and since there's no symbol on this card that's either mountain or city, there's special abilities there where if you roll a 6, you actually score 2 hits. So I'm going to slide von Kleist down to his exhausted side. I'm going to spend another supply point and get ready to attack. Now, the game comes with black and white dice. Personally, I like to use my own color. Black and white can be important because some of the cards, like Hungarian Allies here, they let you roll extra dice. I just keep them separated myself. That's just the way I do it. Okay? Alright, so Von Kleist is going to attack. Now you roll a number of dice equal to the number of blocks, your strength. So I'm going to get to roll 4 here. So let's see what happens. Von Kleist, unleashing his Panzers. An excellent roll to start the game. Woo! That's going to be savage there. Okay? Now, in the game, very basic. When you roll the dice, as the Germans, if you roll 3 or better, you score a hit. You knock out a Soviet block. Okay? If you roll a 1, you lose a German block. So you got to be careful, because once your last block is gone, that unit is defeated. Okay? And again, with Panzer troops, if you roll a 6, you knock out 2. So as you can see here, technically I got 2, 3, 4, 5 hits, much more than I needed to go ahead and knock out Vernej. Okay? Now, when you're dealing with mountain and city spaces, you are going to be subtracting 1 from dice, which means, of course, that then as an attacker, as the attacker, you will need to roll 4 or better. But it also means that whenever you're rolling your dice, if you roll 2 or less now, you will lose a block. So, Von Kleist, no trouble, rolling through here into Vernej, completely pounded them. So, that is the first objective achieved. I will slide my VP there, and we unlocked Vorshilograd, there's a mouthful for you, and Rostov. So I will take those 2 cards as soon as I find them here. Let's see, where are we? They're probably towards the bottom because I was able to conquer both. Yep, pretty close. I was right last time. By the way, these cards go all the way out to Astrakhan, which of course was the, one could argue, ludicrous goal that was set way down in the forever future kind of thing. So now these get put up here, and then I will need to do an advance order to go ahead and engage them again, okay, and get to them. All right. Now with event cards, you can play them whenever you want. The only stipulation is that any card that allows you to have extra combat dice, like the Hungarian Allies here, you can only use 1 of them in a combat. You cannot use more than 1 to add dice to a combat situation. Okay. All right. So far so good. And I'm going to go ahead and use von Manstein. And I think what I will do is I will use an advance order on him. So we're going to slide him down. We're going to spend another supply, drop us down to 2. And we'll put Vorshilograd there with its 4 blocks. Okay? So we got 4 blocks on here. And once you have exhausted all of your generals, then your part of the turn is over. There's nothing else to do. Now, at this point, the Soviets get to do their local counterattacks. So here you're going to roll a number of dice equal to the cubes that are on the card, and every roll of a 1 will cause damage to the Germans. So you do kind of have to be careful as you go ahead and do all of this, because sometimes, you know, you might advance you guys, and advance like I did here. I'm kind of advancing into the teeth of the enemy. I'm going to let them have a first shot at me before I can get a shot on them. So let's see what happens with the 4 Soviet dice. Okay, well, that was kind of rough. That was kind of brutal. But the 4 Soviet dice here, they did manage to get a 1 as part of them. So I will have to remove a block from von Manstein. Now, the way you can get blocks back, build up the strength of your units, is either through a consolidate order, which allows you to build up supplies and bring more troops in, replacements basically, or through the play of a card. Okay? So the Soviets did their counterattack. That's the only one they have to do. And that's it. We're ready for the next game turn. So again, things move along pretty quickly and easily, especially once you get the hang of things in this game. So we're moving into mid-July now. And as we move into mid-July, I will, of course, slide all my guys up. Nobody's exhausted anymore. I will go ahead and draw 2 event cards. Let's see what we get this time. Hopefully something good. We got... okay, so I have to exhaust a general of the player's choice. Now, cards that have this little stop symbol on it, those are ones that have to be played instantly. So I'm going to have to play this one right away. And then this other one, oh, I got my Italian allies here, so I can put this in the slot to help me out here. Now the question is, who do I want to exhaust right away? Sugar. Well, makes sense since this part of the front over here is here and generals can only attack who's in front of them or diagonal. It makes sense to exhaust Ruhoff, but of course that sucks because he's my biggest army. He's got 5 guys. Okay? Alright. So now we're ready to start giving orders again. Now I could discard one of these cards, the Hungarian or Italian allies, and build von Manstein back up to a strength of 4. I'm also tempted to discard this card because I'm not really in combat right now, but boy, I could use those supplies. You know, the 2 extra supplies here. Well, let's do that. Let's take the Hungarian ally card, and we'll use it to build von Manstein's strength back up to 4. And then I'll use the railgun card, and we'll build up supplies by 2. Okay? Alright, so now we're ready to roll, except of course we have this one exhausted general already. It's only the middle of July. Come on, man. But of course, if you know anything about all of this on the Eastern Front, the big bugaboo, the big Achilles heel for the German war machine was logistics. Even at the beginning of Case Blue, because I was just reading Trigg's book about the Battle of Stalingrad through German eyes. Right off the bat, they were running into shortages again of fuel and ammunition and everything else, particularly fuel. So, yeah. Alright, now, let's go ahead and let's give von Manstein an attack order. So we'll go ahead and spend 1 supply, drop it down to 3. Now von Manstein, brilliant commander, so I can re-roll 2 dice. Okay, but he's also a fortress buster. Now there's no fortress on this one. This is wide open spaces here. But he could go ahead and instead of worrying about rolling a 2, like I said, if there's mountain or city terrain, then you're going to be subtracting 1. Von Manstein, he will only lose men always, unless it's mountains, on a natural roll of 1. So we'll go ahead and have him attack. Actually, maybe von Kleist would have made more sense, huh? Because then I could have driven him into there and put von Manstein for the advance. Yeah, let's just stick with it. So von Manstein, we're going to roll 4 dice. I'm not going to use the Italian allies because I really don't feel the need for that. So let's see what we get. Ay, 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 ay. Whew, that was nasty. Good thing I get to re-roll 2 dice once. Hokey spoons, look at this. Alright, so I got a 6 and a 4, which are both hits. But I rolled snake eyes, though, too. So I can re-roll up to 2 of my dice, so I'm going to do that. So hopefully I won't have the same bad luck here in a second. And I didn't. I had a pair of 3s. Now remember, we need 3 or better to cause hits. So we have 4 hits there with the 6, the 5, and the 2 3s. Bada bing, bada boom. All 4 are wiped out. So Vorshilgrad has been conquered. And again, we get 1 victory point for that. So we will move along the track here. We now have 2 victory points. And we have unlocked another card along the way as we move deeper into the Soviet Union, which of course was always the case. Where are we? Here we go. So now we've unlocked this card, the Kalach, I guess is how you pronounce it. And you can see here, here's that Fortress City symbol, and of course some of them have text here. So like when this card is brought into play, you're going to get an immediate counterattack against you. Okay. Alright, so I've got 1 general left. Now, I could, because I've got 3 supply, if I really wanted to, I could, this would be a little reckless / bold, I could go ahead and bring both of these cards into play. I could bring Rostov and Kalach into play if I wanted to. But again, if I do it now, and everybody's exhausted, that means the Soviets are going to get to hit my guys here before the end of the turn. But you know what? Screw it. I mean, let's face it, when it comes to the Eastern Front, if you're not taking risks, you're probably not going to be able to win here. So, I'll do the advance. So I'll do one supply. We'll bring Rostov into play here in the middle, so that way it can be hit by all 3 generals. And then I'll spend another supply, dropping me down to 1. And we'll put that over here in front of Ruhov, because he has the most men. Okay? So we'll go ahead and we'll bring 4 Soviet blocks into Rostov on the Don. And then we have 5 Soviet blocks at Kalach. Now again, reading the text here, it's an immediate counterattack. So the Soviets will attack with their 5 dice, and any ones will cause damage to Ruhov. So let's see how he handles things. He's okay. Got a 5 and a 4, 2 2s, and a 3. So no hits on him. But, of course, they're going to get another shot here in a second because it's the end of the turn. I have nothing left here. All my boys are exhausted, so to speak. Alright? But again, there are event cards that will let you, refresh them in the middle of the turn. Hoth has a special ability that's reckless. You can go ahead and remove one of your strength blocks to bring him back to fresh. So that can get a little sporty, if you will. Alright. Local Soviet attack. So we're going to have the Soviets in Rostov attack von Kleist and his Panzers. Ooh, 2 4s and 2 1s. Ouch. So von Kleist's men coming up to the outskirts of Rostov just got the snot knocked out of them. That's unfortunate. And of course, the 17th Army here on the other flank. There are 5 Soviet dice. Did they learn anything from their first attack? No. 2 6s, a 4, a 3, and a 2. So they didn't find a way to strike the enemy any better. Okay? And that's it. The turn's over again, and we move on to the next turn. So we're going to move into late July, and we're going to slide all our generals up so no one's exhausted. Now, we're going to draw 2 event cards again. Let's see what we get. This time we get, oh hey, this is nice timing. We get logistical effort. And we get Romanian allies. That's interesting. Got a lot of allies here. But there are Soviet cards, because that kind of makes me nervous for later on here as we go through the turns, because I haven't seen any Soviet cards yet. But there was one bad card, if you remember, the interference from OKH was red. Okay. Let's see here, before I get everybody rolling. Now, I could use the logistical effort card. I could put 2 blocks back and bring von Kleist up to strength, or I could get myself 2 supply. That's another thing I could do. Oh, I might want to wait, though, because if I've got Rostov, I get a 3rd barrel. Decisions. All right, let's do this. Since I haven't done this yet, that way I can show you guys how it works. Let's take von Kleist, and we will have him do the consolidate order. So the consolidate order lets us get 2 supplies. That'll take us up to 3. He also gets 1 cube back. Now, if you choose a general that already has all his cubes, you can't go over the top, so to speak. You have to stop with the maximum. So if you start with 4, you already have 4. No, you don't get an extra block. Still get the supplies, but you don't get the block. Okay, so we'll get von Kleist slowly built back up, and then let's see. Who should I have attack Rostov? That's a good question. Only problem is I'll give extra blocks to Kalach if I capture Rostov first, but I really want to capture Rostov first because this logistical thing. That 3rd barrel. Decisions. Let's see. Okay, we're going to go ahead and let's take Ruhov. We'll have him attack Rostov with 1 block. And I'm going to use the Romanian allies so I can use 2 extra dice. Now, when you use a card that allows you to attack with extra dice, you don't have to worry about losing troops like you do on the roll of a 1. That's why there's black and white dice symbols, because then you can just go ahead and you can roll the dice from the card, okay? But it won't cause you to lose anything, okay? So that's the good benefit of that, okay? All right, so we got 5 dice here attacking Rostov. So let's see what we get. Now, Rostov does have the city symbol, so remember we're going to subtract 1 from our rolls. So let's see how that goes. Makes me a little nervous. Because remember, if I roll only 2s, we're going to have some losses here. Jeez, me and my big mouth. Ugh. Okay, bad news bears. Well, the good news, I rolled 3 5s, which become 4s. The bad news is I rolled 2 2s, which become 1s. Now I'm going to roll for my Romanian allies down here, and hopefully I can get... I need 2 more hits. Oh, well. There we go. A 4 and a 5, and now we discard that card. Okay, so that is a total of 5 hits. That's the good news. So, oh, actually, we did overkill. We were hitting Rostov, so I do have enough, more than enough. That's 4. I got 5 hits. 4. Boom, Rostov goes down. However, we did lose 2. Yikes! So down goes Rostov. Positive point, we get 2 victory points. 1, 2. Negative, though, remember there's a special ability on this card. Once it's captured, add 2 to each campaign card on the front line. So that will really beef up this one. So maybe I shouldn't have done that, but you know, there's lots of things I shouldn't do. And it unlocks 2 new cards. Oh, I'm sorry, I reached across, didn't I? My apologies. Novo Roskis, I think. I hope. And the other one, my cop, is the other one, the oil field. So now we're on our way to getting that oil, to quote Dave Chappelle in one of his skits. So, that's where we are here. Alright. Huh. That wasn't smart of me, was it? No, I should have attacked the other way, because now von Manstein doesn't really have anything to do. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. There is one more thing that I forgot to mention to you guys. One other thing you can do, but let me just see. I got to double check here and see. Because it doesn't say here. You can reorganize your front line, which means you can rotate them around, costing 1 supply. You can change the order of your generals. But I'm not sure if you can go the whole way with von Manstein to Ruha. Okay, I'll tell you what. Since I'm not sure, here's what we're going to do. Bad generalship on my part. Well, there's a lot of bad generalship on the Eastern Front. Who are we all kidding? Alright, well, hey, think of this as an instructional video. Things to not do when you're deep in southern Russia. Alright, so here's what we'll do. Let's do a couple of things. I'm going to play this logistical card because now I could use it for this. I'd rather have. I think I'd rather have the supplies. Yeah. All right. So I'll go ahead and grab 1, 2, 3 supplies, and then I'll have von Manstein do the consolidated one, which will take me all the way up to 7 supplies. But remember, he can't get a block because he's already at full strength. Now, unfortunately, that leaves Ruhoff at the mercy of, what have we got there? 2, 4, 6, 7. 7 Soviet rifle divisions. Ooh. 6. One more. Now, am I about to throw the baby out with the bathwater? Let's see. Almost. I rolled 2 1s. So that will take him down to almost nothing. Boom. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Whew, okay. I'm living dangerously here. But I got away with it this time anyway. Alright. Well, not the best kind of situation, but I mean, not the disaster. Oh, borderline disaster. Okay. Alright. that's it. We're done with the Soviet attacks. So now we're going to go into early August. Now, von Kleist's special ability will come in. So once I get my generals here refreshed, I get to draw 3 cards and I get to ditch 1. Oh, well, well, well. Gee, let me show you. I wonder which one of these 3 cards will I get rid of? Now this one's a little bit of a double-edged sword because I can get an extra victory point out of this. But right now, after what just happened, I got to skip that one because that's a counterattack. Alright, so I got Luftwaffe support, which is good. And I also have the 4th Geibersjäger Division, which can be helpful in attacking cities, I believe. Yeah. No, mountain. Yeah, see, that's the one that's my biggest gripe about the game right now is the mountain and city symbols look a bit too much alike. Okay. Excuse me. So there is that situation. Now, the question is, what do I do here next? Well, I could use some of these cards, like the Italian allies. I could use it to beef up Ruhoff. I could also have von Kleist attack here. I could have the Luftwaffe just launch an airstrike on them with 2 dice. I might want to do that rather than the supplies because I'm all the way up to 7 on supplies. And that's a free shot, so to speak. Okay, let's... I don't have any mountains right now. So I'm going to get rid of this and get him a block back because, yeah, I don't want him to... Yeah, alright. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to have him do a consolidate order, which is going to give me a boatload of supplies and give him another block. Then I'm going to get the Luftwaffe and have them go medieval on that Soviet position, at least I hope so, with their 2 dice. And I got a 6 and a 4, so that will definitely work. So there's 2 Soviet blocks gone. And then I will use von Kleist, and I will use the Italian allies to gain 2 more dice. So here comes von Kleist. Now, unfortunately, though, there is the symbol for the city, so I don't get the bonus. The Panzers, where I get that in like wide open spaces, that's not going to happen. So, but I get to roll 3 dice. Let's see if we can pull this off. Oh, the nightmare continues. Look at this. 2 1s. He's almost gone. Wow. Alright, let's see if my Italian allies can do a better job here. I shouldn't have taken Rostov out first. That was dumb. That was really dumb of me. Well, my Italian allies at least got a hit. But with the 3, remember -1 because of the city, those 3s turn into 2s. So I lost 2 blocks here. And Soviets only lost 1 block. Wow. The good news is that Soviet cards can only attack the enemy in front of them. But wow, wow, wow. This is the worst start I've had of any of these games. And of course it has to be when it's in front of all you guys, so you know how that goes. Alright. Okay, I got one Manstein left. I could have him advance. Okay, you know what? I'm going to have him advance. I'll spend some supplies, and I will have him bring this card into play. And when this card gets captured, we get 2 extra supplies, which is awesome. But we also have to deal with 4 Soviet blocks here at the end of the turn. Alright, all my guys are exhausted, so you know what that means. It's Soviet time. So let's start down here. Whoops, we'll start down here with von Manstein as the Soviets at Novo will attack first. Son of a... Got a 1. So von Manstein loses one of his blocks now. Alright, meanwhile, at the other end of the front, we got another 4 blocks as the Soviets will attack. Well, this time that's good news. A 2, a 3, and 2 6s, so no hits that time. Excellent. All right. So the beginning of August, not going so well. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So Soviet counterattacks are done. I got tons of supplies, which is good. Let's see what's lurking around the corner here in the middle of August. Everybody's back up. And my event cards are... well, let's talk about the good first. The Allied Mountain Romanian Corps, although I have no mountains right now. But General Zhukov. Now, General Zhukov has this little push pin, which means now he will stay in play for the rest of the game. So we put him up here by Soviet effects. And the Soviets get to reroll all their 6s, which gives them a chance to turn them into 1s. Yay. There's got to be a better way to make a living. Alright, let's see. What to do. Well, okay. I don't think I really have a choice. Well, I don't have any mountains right now. So let's do this. Let's take this Romanian Mountain Corps. I can play it to add a block, so I'll do that. I'll have von Kleist consolidate, which will give me a boatload of supplies. And now I can try to attack with my other 2 guys here. But I won't be able to take either position. Wow. Oh. Oh. Whew. Ouch. Well, let's get attacking. We'll have von Manstein's people go first here. 3 dice. Let's see if we can start wearing things down. Alright, a 5, a 4, and a 2. I'll keep the 5 and the 4. But von Manstein can reroll up to 2 dice. But the 2 member wouldn't have hurt him anyway because of his fortress busting ability. It has to be a 1. Good thing, because I just rolled another 2. Alright, so at least von Manstein is whittling down the Soviet forces here. So they lost 2, but I'm still not where I need to be. Alright, other end of the front. We're going to try and whittle down here. We got 3 dice down here too. Let's see. So I can reroll a single die, which is good. I think I forgot to do that last time though, didn't I? I think so. Alright, here we go. 6, a 5, and a 1. Gee, I wonder what I'm going to reroll here. Okay, alright. Well, the 3's no good because we are attacking the city. 3 minus 1 is 2. However, the 6 and the 5 lets me whittle them down, which is good. So again, we're making progress, but this is not, these are not the Panzer battles of 1941, huh? Nope. Which, by the way, on the BGG page for this game already, shows you how much enthusiasm I have for this. I was like, man, is it too early to talk about, you know, this would be a great system, in my humble opinion, for a nice light war game. Like if you had, excuse me, if you had this system to cover like Army Group South, Army Group Center, Army Group North, I don't think you could do it all together. That would be too much. It'd be too overwhelming. But if you had a game that was just covering each of those areas, that I think would be very cool. Alright, so we're exhausted. So now the Soviets get their shot. And now remember, since they got old Georgy Zhukov over here, they get to reroll any 6s. Alright, we're going to attack von Manstein first. Oh, you're killing me. My dice have gone cold. Look at that. It's 2 1s. I just lost 2 blocks. Von Manstein's down on his last leg now. Oh, what the heck? Is it like an early winter? It's the middle of August. I guess it's those orderly retreats, right? Okay, now the other end of the front. 2 5s, so, okay. That's at least something. Alright. Let's keep going a little bit more. Alright, moving into late August. Move all my guys up. Get my 2 event cards. What do I have? Luftwaffe support. There's a happy thought. Ah, balls. I've got reinforcements. So I got to add 2 to the highest VP campaign card? Well, they're tied. Alright. Additional one was Zukov, so it's actually 3. Alright, now since they're both tied, I'm going to let the die of fate intervene here. Odd. So they're going to go with the big N. Alright. So there they are. Okay. Not so good. Alright. Speaking of not so good, I got some bad news. I thought I had fully charged this battery, but this thing is blinking at me now. Alright. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to stop here in late August with getting ready to give my general's orders. But you get the idea of the game. You get the idea how it plays. Again, it's from Catastrophe Games. If you're interested, they also, you can buy, I didn't do it because I'm not a big miniature guy, but you can actually buy little men and little tanks to put on the cards if you want to do that, if that's your sort of thing. So, anyway, you know, we did almost 2 months of turns here, 6 turns almost, so it gives you a good idea how the game plays. I like it. It's definitely got my 3F stamp of approval, fast, fun, and furious. So, yeah, like I said, I really hope they do more of these. My understanding is there's already 2 games in the works, one for North Africa, one for Operation Bagration. So, we'll see. But I do hope they do Barbarossa, the 3 army groups, because that would be totally cool, and I would be the first one in line to buy. Alright? Okay. So, there you have it. That is the Case Blue campaign, Fall Blue, from, again, Catastrophe Games. As always, this is Tim Korchnoi from Bare Bones Wargaming, saying thanks for watching, and I'll try to visit you again. I know it's been over a month, but, you know, as Frank would say, that's life. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hopefully you got enough out of it to get an appreciation if you want to check this game out or not. Until next time, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you all eventually at some point.